Pretty cool. This is the drum groove that we have prepared for reference. Nice little organic house groove. Now we would like to add some kind of a bass line on it, something that would just get us into the flow. So the first thing we're going to do is create an audio track, and in this audio track, we are going to load in samples. So what I'm going to do is just take all these bass loops. You could also take bass one shots. It really doesn't matter. If you feel like you have too many samples in a particular folder that you haven't used in a long time, just chuck them into an audio track the same way I just did. Highlight all of them. So shift click, hit Command or Control J to consolidate. Now this will take a moment. Now create a new MIDI track by hitting Command Shift T. Now you want to click your MIDI track, hold and drag that clip into your MIDI track so a sampler is automatically created. Now we can delete the track that we've previously consolidated. We don't need that. We're working with this guy now. You want to put it into slice mode, and by decreasing the sensitivity, you can see that the slices, they're distributed throughout the entire consolidated sample. Now we're going to use a sequencer to sequence through these individual slices, and it really does not matter which sequencer you use. My personal favorite one to use is Sting by Skinnerbox or by IFTA. That's the newer version. The older version looks like this, a bit more sussy. You could also use Razer Advanced Step Sequencer. This one's also for free. It's also been one of my favorite ones to use for years. Also has this pretty cool little randomize feature up here. For the sake of simplicity and for the sake of using the smiley, we're going to use Sting. So if we hit that smiley, it generates us a MIDI sequence. Now if we solo the layer, the bass layer, this is how it would sound like. So it takes samples from different parts of this entire consolidated clip, and whenever I hit the smiley, it creates me different grooves. You can notice a bit of a click at the beginning of each sound. To avoid that, you can just crank up the fade in time, and what I like to do is also crank up the fade out time so we get a really short and snappy sound. What you could also do is then decrease the length to create more polyrhythmic results. Also decrease the density so it plays less notes. Hit the smiley again. See those polyrhythms? And if we play that together with our groove, maybe dial it down a bit. Pretty cool. Now it's playing pretty quickly. That's because of these 16th notes. We don't want that. Let's change it to maybe 5/16 so it plays a completely different groove. That's so interesting. You get so many different results from this alone. You can also change the type of MIDI randomness, so the types of grooves or algorithms that it utilizes to create these MIDI sequences for you. And what I like to do is take the slider and select different regions. This also gives you completely different results. What the heck? Really nice, really fun. And again, you can just tweak your length, tweak the density, just tweak and test around, right? With this method, we are trying to create chaos. From the chaos that we're creating, we're trying to find particular snippets that just resonate with us, that we feel like sound good. Whoa. So here we're getting a bit of a tom groove. This is very powerful, very, very powerful, and freaking fun. Freaking fun, dude. Now you can see that it's warped to this particular algorithm, the complex algorithm. You could also change it to beats, maybe go into forward transient, dial down the envelope so you get really short and percussive sounds. So if you're somebody who likes short and percussive bass lines, maybe as tom grooves, you can utilize this method. But for now, I feel like going for a bass groove, so let's increase the envelope size. And by changing the sensitivity, you see how it selects different snippets as well. That's what we're going to keep. And if you want to gain more control over your sound and create more interest, you can add this also free device called Note Triggered Modulator. I've created a video on this topic before, but for melodies. This video is going to be for just this bass groove. So Note Triggered Modulator, chuck it here. Again, this device is free, but if you don't want to install it, you can also use Ableton Live's LFO. I feel like this one gives you a bit more control. What we're going to do is go into controls. We're going to change this filter envelope to a bandpass bandpass filter. So we just create that narrow band of frequencies that we would like to emphasize. This resonance over here creates that squelch, which you might know from those dubstep yoys, like the wow wow types of sounds. But again, let's keep it really subtle. So what this note triggered modulator is doing is it's taking the MIDI notes output from this sequencer, the Sting sequencer, and it's now giving us the opportunity to map that to a particular parameter, like this one here. I'm going to change the rate to 16th so we get more notes. We're getting a completely different groove, more of like a sub groove. Notice how this note triggered modulator is reacting to the 16th notes here. So every 16th, it jumps a step. And each and every single one of these steps, we can tweak. So we can create higher steps, we can create lower steps. And that corresponds to the filter position of this bandpass. And if you're really into progressive house and those more modular based genres, then this technique will certainly give you some interesting results. Let's go back into sample. Again, tweak the sample starting position, this little flagpole post, see if we can get some different results. Go back into controls. Right, by tweaking the resonance, you can see how squelchy it becomes. It emphasizes particular notes, but be careful with the resonance in the sub-bass frequency because it does impact your groove a bit. And you can set the range, so if you just want to go for maybe a higher range, tweak the position here. And what I love about this is that you also get the glide. So if you want to create some smoothness between each and every single step, you can do that with glide. See how the movement also becomes more smooth? Less steppy. And you can also click randomize a couple times. And it creates you different steps, different grooves each time. So there are a lot of individual parameters that you can take control of to create these different subgrooves. And what's amazing is that this does not only apply to bass lines. You could also use it on percussions, on melodies. Just try yourself out. Now this feels more like minimal house, to be honest. Like raw minimal. This is more progressive house. And if you'd like to take it up a step, you can also add some kind of an effect to your send channels. So I'm going to load up an effect called Echo. Let's chuck it onto return channel A. Just put it here. If you don't see your return channels, just click this little R button here. Let's remove the reverb, put it on 100% dry wet since this is a return channel. Crank up the feedback. Now let's open up this filter. Just let the mid-range and high end come through. Keep the signal clean, right? Now we can send this bass groove into return channel A. There we go, son. And if you'd like, you could also disable the note triggered modulator, disable the filter completely. See, the results seem to be more percussive, but I just find that that filter, that bandpass filter, makes it sound more like a subgroove. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. You can find all of these sounds on LotusTunes.com. I will see you in the next video. Peace.